On a desolate stretch of highway, there exists a tale of terror, a ghostly figure known as the Devil Rider. Legend says his spirit roams the roads on a phantom motorcycle, forever trapped between life and death. For years, locals have shared chilling stories of strange accidents and the restless soul that haunts this road. Some claim to hear the distant roar of an engine, while others report feeling a sudden, icy wind followed by a strange voice calling their name. The camera zooms in on an empty highway, fog creeping along the road, with the distant hum of an engine growing louder and then abruptly stopping. The screen fades to black, and the text reads, "Some legends are best left unchallenged." Jake and Tyler were two adventurous friends who love to explore haunted places and document them for their YouTube channel. Their channel had gained a moderate following, but they needed one big story, one terrifying legend that would catapult them to fame. That's when they heard about the mysterious Devil Rider, a ghostly motorcyclist who was said to haunt a deserted stretch of highway. According to legend, years ago, the Devil Rider was a famous motorcycle racer who died in a tragic accident one stormy night. His bike had lost control on a sharp curve, sending him crashing into a massive tree. Ever since that night, his ghost had been seen riding up and down the highway, his engine roaring through the darkness. Those who tried to confront his spirit were said to never return the same. "This is it," Tyler said with excitement. "If we capture this on camera, we'll be legends." Jake was hesitant, but eventually agreed, lured by the idea of overnight fame. "Yeah, it's probably just another old ghost story." The night was clear, and the moon cast an eerie glow on the landscape as they made their way to the infamous highway. Along the way, they stopped at a rundown gas station to fuel up. An elderly man behind the counter overheard their conversation about the Devil Rider. "You boys ain't thinking of going to that cursed road, are you?" he asked, his voice serious. "Yeah, just checking out the Devil Rider story for our channel," Jake said with a grin. The old man's eyes darkened with concern. "You don't want to be messing with that. I've seen strange things out there. Turn back while you still can." Jake and Tyler laughed it off and continued on their way. As they approached the large, gnarled tree where the Devil Rider supposedly met his end, a sudden chill crept into the air. The temperature seemed to drop, and a thick fog began to gather along the highway. Both men noticed the change but dismissed it as coincidence. They parked the car, set up their cameras, and started the live stream. Jake spoke into the camera. "We're here, guys, right where the Devil Rider supposedly crashed. They say his spirit still haunts this road, but tonight, we're going to prove it's just a myth." Tyler joined in, jokingly adding, "Yeah, nothing to be scared of here." Hours passed with nothing unusual happening. Midnight approached, and both men began to lose interest. Then, without warning, the temperature dropped again, and the fog thickened around them. Jake's camera began to glitch, the screen flickering. "You feel that?" Jake asked, his voice now laced with uncertainty. Before Tyler could respond, a low-packed rumbling sound filled the air. The unmistakable growl of a motorcycle engine echoed in the distance. It started faint but grew louder, as if it was speeding toward them. The two friends looked down the road, where a bright headlight appeared through the mist. But there was no sign of a rider or a bike, just the glowing light and the deafening roar of the engine. "What the hell?" Tyler muttered, his voice shaking. The headlight came to a halt, just a few meters away, and the engine fell silent. The air grew still, suffocating in its quietness. Jake tried to compose himself, lowering the camera, but before he could say anything, they heard footsteps. A shadowy figure began to emerge from the fog. It was a man, clad in a worn leather jacket, his face obscured but his eyes glowing faintly, staring directly at them. Both men froze, paralyzed by fear. "We need to get out of here," Tyler whispered urgently. But before they could move, the figure stepped closer, his gaze unblinking, and his voice, a low, menacing growl, cut through the cold air. "Why have you disturbed my rest?" Jake scrambled to grab the car keys, but the doors wouldn't budge. The ground beneath them trembled, and the sound of the motorcycle engine suddenly roared back to life, now impossibly loud, as if it was right on top of them. Both men were thrown to the ground, their car shaking violently. Jake's camera fell, skidding across the pavement, still streaming. As they struggled to get up, they saw it. A ghostly motorcycle, its headlight burning bright, charging toward them. The bike roared down the highway, but there was no rider on its seat. Flames flickered around the tires, and it seemed to leave a trail of light behind it as it raced closer. Jake barely had time to scream before the world went black. Epilogue. The next morning, the police found their car abandoned near the tree. The doors were wide open, but Jake and Tyler were nowhere to be found. Their live stream, however, had gone viral overnight, showing the eerie headlight and the chilling sound of the motorcycle's engine. To this day, locals avoid that stretch of highway, especially on nights when the fog is thick and the sound of a phantom engine can be heard echoing through the mist. Some legends are best left unchallenged.